Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Maverick News Channel. Hello, Maverick family. I have a question. Where were most of you guys when I needed you? I was up at like 3, 4 in the morning as I received news tips about the U.S. attack on Venezuela, and I had to get up, and I was like, okay, everybody's going to get up for this, and I thought I better start broadcasting, so I did that, and it was like some new people and a lot of folks not there. Just joking. I know. It's like, even the invasion of a country can wait until we get our shut eye, right? It was a little bit much. I hope we are running on all channels here tonight. Let me just check here and make sure that this is working. Okay, it says all running. Oh, there it is. Okay, yes, we are on all channels. We're firing on all cylinders. So technical problems, thing of the past. Never going to happen again. We're rocking and rolling here. And, man, they were rocking and rolling in Venezuela overnight. They had explosions and missiles and attack helicopters and 150 aircraft. And what a spectacle it was. We brought some live footage to people overnight. Reaction, analysis, and then, I've been off and on since about, as I say, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, with live streams. We went live at 11 a.m. Well, it was supposed to be 11. I was live at 11 a.m., but even the president was letting us down. He was late for his own news conference today. Didn't show up until about, 40 minutes past when he was supposed to start, but that was okay. He gave me some time to make some new friends and maybe get a few new subscribers to the channel. So maybe we'll see some new people in the chat tonight. Who knows? It was quite an event overnight. Historic, that's for sure. And to help us make sense of it, or at least give us a different perspective on the whole thing, we have one of our old friends, one of our old Mavericks stopping by. He's going to be here on the other side of our first short break here tonight. Joseph Leonard, author of Terror Strikes, someone who has spent a lot of time looking at the issue of terrorism. And since terrorism is, one of the main justifications for what the U.S. has done in Venezuela, narco-terrorism, I thought, well, it's probably appropriate to bring Joseph back tonight and get his take on what has happened. So stay with me because Joseph will join us on the other side of this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So I'm just looking in the chat over on Rumble, and Norfa says she was there watching live as I was doing some of these things overnight and through the day today. I could sense you. I could feel your energy. I was using the force. I could feel you out there in Cyberland. And there's someone right now. I sense that there is someone who wants to join us tonight. And maybe if I will it, maybe if I think it just strongly enough, we can make it happen. And there he is.
Instead of your 6 cents, you put 2 cents in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Well, I want your 2 cents worth tonight on this whole thing in Venezuela. It is historic. That's definitely true. Some kind of unusual, unprecedented things going on. And I think you have a different take on the whole thing tonight than most people have. Although you kind of told me that, and yet I think that the position you're going to take on this evening is actually pretty much in alignment with what the Trump administration is using as partial, well, even real justification. Well, just as their justification for what they did. How do you want to start tonight, Joseph?
Yeah, that's the easiest way to put it. And yeah, earlier I dropped a constitutionalist video, already blew people's heads. Police action is what it actually is. And that, of course, minds, oh my God, right? All the shock and horror.
What, you mean a political thing is controversial and it's making people's heads blow up? Why would
both TDS side and the Trump cult side, right? It's like, oh my God. But I called it, I released on Substack also this afternoon, first to start calling it a police action, because that's what it is. The FBI, the Department of Justice, the CIA is involved. So this isn't Iraq. This is more like Noriega than anything. It's a true international. We need to get Interpol involved. And I don't want them tried in the United States. How about Switzerland, right? You're still supposedly neutral. Can we ship them over and let you do it?
Has that ever actually been done? To arrest the leader of a country and then send them to a place like Switzerland to be tried as sort of like a third neutral party to intervene with some sort of court action?
Well, I would, to put on their defense hat, I would think they would probably prefer it also. I don't want it here in the U.S. What I'd really like, and what muddies these water and complicates things, is how long is it going to take for a new governance to really start in Venezuela? I'd like to ship them back there and let them try them. Let them deal with them. That's where they should put them on trial, and then let them hang them or whatever they want to do with them.
Well, that's one of the things that is a little unusual, a little strange and unsettling about what has happened is Trump, ordered this strike. U.S. military goes in, they get Maduro, they take him out of the country. They say, Trump today said during his news conference that the U.S. is going to, quote, run Venezuela for now until they figure out what the heck they're going to do for governance. Yeah. And yet tonight, I'm seeing stuff like this online. Like this is a Venezuelan fighter jet. I think this is an F-16. They have F-16s in their stockpile, and they're flying around. And so the Venezuelan military on high alert, even tonight, with people wondering what the heck is going to happen next. They've left. Point is, they've sort of left the remnants of the Maduro government in place. The vice president's still there, still taking calls from other world leaders. Meanwhile, Trump says they're going to run things, but the government is still there and controlling the military, and the military is still in some sort of defensive posture. in the wake of what happened overnight. So I'm kind of like, what the hell is really going on? And Trump is saying he has a plan. And as I'm looking at this, I'm going, well, what's the plan? This doesn't look like the plan has been enacted yet. What's happening? What do you think?
Yeah, that's the mucky, murky part of it all right now. What kind of transitional government will there be? We can't leave remnants of Maduro around to run things. We need the Venezuelans, of course, to step up now and maybe do more. We need an aspect of the Venezuelan armed forces to complete the government overthrow through a coup, I dare say. Again, this is all, developing as we speak. Who knows?
Well, I don't know. Like, I think that we had the coup overnight because they
Well,
took out the president. Like, they came and basically, some would say kidnapped, other people say captured, but they took away the president. I mean, that's a coup, dude. Any way you slice
well,
it,
not
they
when it's done
decapitated the
by
head
a
of the government.
not when it's done by a foreign government. It would be a coup if it were done entirely internally. But
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's no getting around it. We overthrew him.
Oh yeah, I
There's
think so.
just no way to, put lipstick on that
Yeah.
pig. But the issue here is, and like I said in my video I released this afternoon, under the acts created by Congress following 9/11, he has the war on terror policies. And I've been saying for years, like the Tom Clancy movie, uh, not, oh, I'm drawing a blank, not Patriot Games, not, Clear and Present Danger.
Mhm.
Finally, we've declared the cartels as terror organizations. So that's the justification he's using. No need to declare war. But if you're going to occupy the country, then it gets muddy and murky, and yeah, Congress is going to have to be involved.
It's interesting that you speak in this language, um, because I don't think that. I mean, that very much mirrors what the Trump administration is saying, but it does not really mesh with the language in the United Nations Charter, and that is what people who are saying this is a violation of international law are citing is the UN Charter, uh, and specifically it's Article 2, Section 4. So, um, and really what it comes down to is it's like, well, it's the US says this and the US says that, and they're declaring this law and that law valid, or they're doing it under you know, under this law that they have declared this to be illegal. But that's really what it all comes down to ultimately in the end is the United States has said that you're a terrorist and this is illegal and we don't like that, but it's all from the US side. None of this has really been done internationally with any kind of a coalition and does not comply according to, a lot. I'd say the majority of international legal scholars and experts were tonight really condemning this, saying that it does not comply with international law. What say you?
Yeah, I'd like a little more involvement and getting Interpol involved in some way, shape, or form to indeed make this a more of an international recognized thing. The
Yeah.
UN body, I don't really give a damn whatever the hell they have to say, but I
Spoken like a true American.
but we do want our allies to at least be somewhat on board. And I mentioned Switzerland.
Mhm.
Can we put them on trial there if we can't send them back to Venezuela? I do want this to be international, rather than indeed just us and only us.
But if this involved Interpol, Interpol doesn't usually use F-35s.
No.
This is not what I would classify as a police operation. This was I mean, he's saying that it's a joint military police, um, operation, and he's,
just like with Noriega. I mean, if this is more like Panama and Noriega than it was Saddam and Iraq.
Okay, but even then, it was. I think Bill Barr was the Attorney General even then with the Noriega thing, and but even then, it still came down to the United States just massaging domestic American laws, saying that there was now justification for the U.S. to go into Panama to take out Noriega because he was wanted on U.S. charges, drug charges. So I just, it still came down to, we're going to do whatever the hell we want because we're the United States of America and you can't stop us. Is that not fair?
Oh no, that's more than fair to say.
And but you don't care.
Nope,
and
not really.
Wrong, I don't really have any sympathy for drug dealers at all, right? But and now that he's in the Southern District of New York, Maduro is going to have a defense attorney, I expect, and this will have to be proven.
Another reason to just keep them in Gitmo for a couple of years, let Venezuela get its act back together, and then ship them back there for a trial. I would much prefer his own people try him and then hang him than us try him and then hang him.
Well, he's
the optics.
Well, now you have to feed and water him on the taxpayer dime and put him up at Club Fed, I guess. Opinions are clearly mixed on this tonight. Did you see the footage of him arriving in New York on the airplane?
No. I mean, I've seen that image like you had in the opening of him with the dark glasses and in cuffs. But beyond that, I on the TV right now, I've got Tampa Bay Bucks against Carolina Panthers on rather than the news. It's like, okay, I've seen enough, heard the same repeat shit all damn day.
Focus on football there. Focus on the screen. This is Maduro arriving in New York on his specially chartered flight, and I would tell you which one he is, but everything is in silhouette here. You can't. You can. I think it's the guy.
I know.
You go 1, 2. I think it's the third.
Right.
Fourth guy up or something, because the second guy up is actually backing down, and he has, I think, a cell phone camera going, and then the guy in front of him, it must be a cop or something. So you've got distance, and then I think Maduro is to the one side, taking like 1 foot down, then the other one, 1 foot down, then the other one. I think it's that guy.
Yeah. But so, we are at least trying to use logic and reason against the war on terror and the war on drugs, rather than indeed, hey, we'll do whatever the hell we want, as you put it, and remove them just because we want to. I think somewhat legitimately, and again, I'm not a Trump cultist. I go after TDS and Trump cultists alike with this rah, 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 or, oh, I'm so bent out of shape and, triggered emotionally, the orange man bad again crap. He was, as a lot of other international places. Didn't Canada even recognize that Maduro did not win legitimately the last election and is illegally stayed in power?
Yeah.
So
our foreign affairs minister Anita Anand did address this today. She did say that they stand with the people of Venezuela, but they were like certainly not endorsing or even really defending Maduro at all. But I think what's also going on, and I said this earlier several times today, that U.S. allies, including Canada and the EU countries, they're choosing their words very carefully, because you don't want to piss off Godzilla by making it look like you're supporting a drug lord kingpin dictator of
Exactly.
some country. But at the same time, they're also, even in Canada's case and in the case of von der Leyen with the EU, both Anita Anand in Canada, Foreign Affairs Minister, and von der Leyen saying that international laws must be recognized and respected. So there's that, and that would come back to the UN Charter. And most people, most scholars are saying this is not a compliance with Section 2, Article 2, Section 4.
There are always going to be people who will say that, like even during Noriega time, there's always going to be naysayers, but Trump is at least trying to put the rule of law bow on it with the narco-terrorist state and illegitimate leader. And
if he really wanted to put the rule of law bow on it, though, wouldn't he go to
Interpol? We need Interpol involved.
That's a police action, and he's gone the military route.
Well, the FBI and CIA didn't work in Panama alone either. It was an invasion of Panama. The military acting as a executive branch arm of the FBI per se. Again, it's a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray here. It's
or maybe I don't know if there is a lot of gray, but I think that there is nuclear weapons and F-35s and immense power, and the United States and Russia, and maybe China too, not really belonging to the International Criminal Court. They have never signed on to
Correct.
international statutes, so they're not being held accountable as other countries are under international law, including Canada, honestly, because we do belong to the ICC, for instance, but the United States doesn't. And at the UN, the United States can just veto things just like Russia. So these laws largely don't apply to the United States. They've got an end run around no matter what the president does. So when Trump and even Richard Nixon said, when the president does it, it's not illegal. Or at least you can get away with it. So when they say no one is above the law, I don't think that's true. I think in many cases, the president of the United States, they have created loopholes and end runs around which they can use to say that the president is above some of these laws.
And the War Powers Act, the Patriot Act, and all that following 9/11 handed over a lot of authority to the president to act in these regards after declaring that the cartels as terrorist organizations and linking
that declaration simply made by the United States. That's nothing more than Trump and the people around him.
Matter of opinion.
You're a bunch of terrorists, and therefore we can do whatever the hell we want. And that's
one man's terrorist is another man's supposed freedom fighder.
Yeah.
At times, that depends on what side of the fence you want to be on. But as you said, I will firmly be one standing against dictatorial drug cartel leaders.
Yeah, and
you
as long as it's true and not just manufactured,
it has to be proven.
Got to prove it in court.
Now you said Canada's involved with the ICC.
Mm-hmm.
There's solved. Call up Carney. We'll ship them over to Toronto for you.
Yeah, but what I was getting at there is that Canada, as a signatory to the ICC, we belong. So if our prime minister violates human rights or commits like a war crime, then can be held accountable by the ICC. And but Trump, Putin, they're not. You guys don't belong. So you just
correct
do anything where you're accused of that. You just say, no, we're not, and we don't have to listen to you because we're not a member. Doesn't apply to us. Sorry. Thanks for having an international law, but we don't give a shit. That's really what it comes down to. Here, I found this. It was strange because I saw this earlier today, and then I saw your email and spoke to you later. about all of this, and which is exactly what we're talking about now. And it's the 1989 Panama operation, which they are comparing this to. Trump
Absolutely.
using that as
Although I'm the only one calling it a police action, because again, I did that on purpose, obviously, to be hyperbolic and confrontational, knowing it would get a burr under some people's panties.
Well, let's run this. It's short, but I think it encapsulates the discussion we're having right now in the argument.
The Trump administration is citing the 1989 Panama operation as precedent for capturing Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro. But does that comparison hold up legally? Here's what matters. In Panama, the U.S. had specific justifications that don't exist in Venezuela. Panama's legislature declared war on the U.S. A Marine was killed at a roadblock. American citizens were being detained and abused. The U.S. had treaty obligations regarding the Panama Canal. Those aren't abstract legal theories. They're concrete triggers under international law. Venezuela? None of that applies. No declaration of war, no dead service members, no treaty obligations, just an arrest warrant from 2020, and the administration's claim that Article 2 lets them protect personnel executing it. The administration argues Maduro isn't a legitimate head of state, so normal sovereignty rules don't apply. But here's the problem. While the U.S. stopped recognizing Maduro in 2019, he's been the internationally recognized leader of Venezuela for years. With Noriega, the U.S. recognized opposition leader Guillermo Endara before the invasion even started. That distinction matters in international law. Scale matters too. Panama was a full invasion, 27,000 troops, weeks of fighting. Venezuela with a surgical Delta Force raid lasting hours. That makes it harder to justify under defensive doctrines. The domestic legal argument relies on the Kerr doctrine. Essentially, if we can physically get you into a courtroom, courts can try you regardless of how you got there. That worked for Noriega. But Columbia law professor Matthew Waxman calls the Venezuela legal basis very murky, and even Trump's own chief of staff previously told Vanity Fair that strikes on Venezuela would require congressional approval.
Already have.
The administration notified Congress only after the operation began. Democrats are calling it illegal. The Noriega comparison gives some legal cover, but the circumstances are different enough that this will face serious constitutional and international law challenges.
Okay, so
yeah. So I don't have major fault with a lot of what he's saying there, at least trying to use facts and history, logic, reason. I don't know if it's really just spin born out of TDS or not. I don't know. I don't care. There are some valid points there. But at the same time, he did mention an arrest warrant. There was a bounty on his head, like Noriega. If I have a warrant for Rick Walker's arrest, whether I show up with 5 people in FBI coats or 10,000 law enforcement agents with badges and guns and SWAT teams, it's still the same legal justification. It's a safer way to apprehend someone, letting the military. The FBI can't invade and get Maduro. That is going to take military. And war on terror, all of that, Congress gave away that authority long ago. So do they want to complain about it? Don't fucking care. Go read the laws you passed 24 years ago.
But you talk about Interpol, but Interpol relies
I would like that. Yeah,
but Interpol relies on cooperation between police services and investigative agencies. So, they don't go around invading countries. They have international agreements for policing between countries and then go out and round up criminals based on those.
When and where that can be done. Yes,
Right. So,
I would prefer that. Do I
but we didn't
require
get
that?
that. We
No,
got the
did
U.S.
right.
military going in there with 150 aircraft, attack helicopters, fighter jets, Delta Force. That's not
What
Interpol.
would
And then
that?
they removed a sitting president in a country that the United States might not recognize, but most other countries did recognize him as the leader, whether he was democratically elected or not. That's the international recognition that's there, and
Well,
he
Eastern
was
Bloc,
clearly in charge.
his Eastern Bloc
Yeah,
allies recognized him as the leader.
yeah.
Uh, most Western nations did not. Now, again, would that guy I'd like to ask that did that video you showed, would he have preferred we send 20,000 troops rather than just Delta Force and
Well, I
some
don't think
FBI
I
and
don't
CIA?
I don't know who that was. I don't know the guy, so I
Yeah.
can't speak for him. I don't think that's really where he was going. I think he was just looking at the the law, international law.
He used that in the discussion to make the distinctions. Okay, that is a true distinction between
Mhm.
that and this. Would you have rathered we gone in guns ablazing and completely
Mhm.
amphibiously landed and sent in 20,000 troops? I don't want that. I'd rather these strategic surgical strikes and get the person and get them out.
Well, that might be what you like, but the question really is it legal or lawful?
And you're always going to have people on both sides arguing that. Absolutely. And
Or
again,
yeah,
why I
but
would prefer Interpol to have had some input and some Interpol charges, and then the U.S. acting on behalf of not just ourselves, but with an international body.
sure, but so you capture Nicolas Maduro. It's an overnight military operation, and this constitutes a use of force, and it really does, under international law, violate the territorial integrity and political independence of Venezuela. And I have the exact passage from Article 2, Paragraph 4. I pulled it just in preparation for tonight to get your thoughts on it,
Yeah,
and it reads, are
as
you
with
familiar?
Panama, should we dig up the Noriegas and put them back in charge as zombies of Panama?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if even that was like truly justified, but I think that I think it's it's a bit of an apples and oranges comparison, just because the circumstances surrounding both of them somewhat different. Anyway, the section there, Article 2, Paragraph 4, it reads, and the exact passage related to this says, all members, UN members, shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state or in any other manner inconsistent with the purposes of the United Nations.
That makes it an international case if you go in and tie on, he emptied the prisons and tried to flood our nation with their scum rather than them staying locked up,
Well, that's the
infiltrating
allegation.
drugs.
I
Yeah, these
also
are allegations.
and
Yes.
I was like listening to Ann Applebaum before with David Frum just before we came on, you know, this afternoon. She very smart lady, pretty much, probably smarter than me, very, very well schooled in this, and expert in international relations, et cetera. She's saying there's no actual proof that Venezuela was emptying the prisons and insane asylums the way that Trump is alleging. But certainly we've seen, you know, Venezuelan people fleeing the country, and many of them ending up in the United States, a lot of them fleeing from Maduro because they stood up against him. And even Ann Applebaum and David Frum both acknowledging that, they view the election of Maduro as being not legitimate, because they'll say that the election
Right.
was fraudulent
But,
too.
but
So
under
there is
what
that,
you
but even
read,
there,
under what you read alone, I
Mhm.
could sit here and spin like a top and apply some of the very things you said there. Again, allegedly, and that's why I want an international court body or a new Venezuelan government to put him on trial rather than us, to hash out these issues and let us present our case, let somebody else present the defense for him, and let it fall where it may.
But given that the charges against him are directly related to his narco-terrorism, which is directed at the United States, allegedly, and therefore the victims of his activity under these charges are Americans, all of the allegations are basically Americans. So to ask an international court to deal with this, or a domestic court in Venezuela to deal with these charges, it seems like it probably wouldn't fit or work because of that.
If you are to also buy into Hezbollah being there, China and envoy was just the other day. So I could argue this affects Israel, for example, because Hezbollah is involved in getting money allegedly laundered to them from him. It's propping up China and Russia, allegedly, with the illegal oil sales, right? So I can justify all kinds of things that would still imply or invoke what you read as valid. But hey, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not here to pretend to be one. Let them argue it out.
They are arguing, Joseph. They're all arguing.
And the bottom line is, though, a lot of Venezuelans are celebrating. And it's like,
there's that too.
I'm with those people, not with the drug dealer. Just like I'm with the Ukrainian people, not Zelensky or Putin. Nothing to do with either of them. I'm with the Ukrainian people. I'm with the Venezuelan people. I'm with the Iranian people currently trying to overthrow their Geisha leadership government and calling for a return to a more secular governance like they had during the Shah, which of course has a lot of problems there though too.
You need to be careful, Joseph, because you're starting to sound a lot like a Canadian. You sound like our foreign affairs minister. We stand with the people of Venezuela, and here's one of those. Here's one of those people tonight. Very much, happy that Maduro taken out, but it's resulting in conflict in the streets of Venezuela tonight.
¿Qué pasó? 26 años. 26 años llevamos esperando ese momento. Ustedes vieron los que dicen llamar la paz. No, asesinos ustedes. Te nombro 4.
Papi, quiero dejar algo claro. Aquí no hay ni un venezolano. Aquí ni un venezolano. Ni un venezolano. Porque realmente yo no sé si a alguien aquí le falta un plato de comida, si alguien aquí ha tenido que ir a un hospital y que le falta insumos. Pero esos venezolanos de mentira porque ni son venezolanos. El venezolano de verdad. Venezuela ya expresó su voluntad. Venezuela, 70% de Venezuela quiere que Venezuela sea libre. Venezuela tiene que ser libre de Maduro. No hace sentido defender un criminal de guerra.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Están aquí? ¿Qué pasó? 26 años. 26 años llevamos esperando ese momento. Ustedes vieron los que dicen llamar la paz. No, asesinos ustedes. Te nombro 4.
Papi, quiero dejar algo claro. Aquí no hay ni un venezolano. Aquí ni un venezolano.
Yeah, with that going on, with all that crosstalk, couldn't make out what you were saying really, other than you. And there will be some Venezuelans whose bread was buttered by the commies, who will be siding with the dictator. Some in the streets siding against the dictator. There will always be the two different sides, and both sides will always find justifications.
If we don't have international law, where does that leave us, though?
since before the League of Nations, which probably should have never been created, which led to the UN, which is pretty useless. So again, whatever the UN has to say, I don't fucking care.
Okay, so if we don't have the UN and we don't have the League of Nations, we don't have the rule of law internationally, what do we have? The law of the jungle?
In some cases, yes. But if you're going to take seriously people dying, and if you take the charges seriously, again, at this point, it's all alleged. We're going to have to wait and see what comes out of it all. It's all alleged. But yeah, each sovereign nation has its own ability and right to act upon and for its own best interest.
So really,
with or without the UN, and I'm not for pulling out of the UN. I think that's a really fucking retarded idea. We should be applying more authority and control as best we can, the US and Canada, in that body, not less.
Of course, if you want to apply maximum force, what you do is you pull out, I guess, and then you just do whatever the hell you want if you're powerful enough. In other words, might makes right. And when you are the United States of America, or the metaphor would be Godzilla, because you're so damn powerful, and you're created, you're born out of the nuclear age, and you're the strongest nuclear power on Earth, and the strongest military, then there's nobody going to tell you what to do. And that's kind of what's going on in Venezuela right now.
Well, we don't want to pull out of the UN. Russia or China sure aren't. They're not going to give up their veto unless let us have run over it roughshod. And that's my point. It'd be really dumb for us to hand over that body and let China and Russia bully that body and make whatever justifications for like an invasion of Ukraine they want.
So, well, what's happened in Venezuela, this is why some academics on the legal side are saying, and the political science side are saying, that what happened overnight really does signal like a serious pivot, a milestone in well, they're saying that this is a change in the existing world order. In fact, I think I've got a article up to say that I've been saying for a long time that what we are witnessing here is the implementation of the actual new world order, where a lot of people have been distracted with all this, the WEF is trying to murder everybody, and the World Health Organization, the real new world order. This is one of the first dominoes to fall, because this really does signal sort of the end of the rules-based international order that has been in place since World War II. Let me see if I can find you the headline with regard to that. Do you have a thought on it before I bring this up?
No, not really.
Well, that's not helpful.
I always call it as I say it, and I'm not going to just blow smoke for the sake of blowing smoke. Yeah. And, Russia is trying to expand its sphere of influence, in part with the invasion of Ukraine. China wants to invade Taiwan and advance their sphere of influence.
That's right. Exactly right.
Downright, I'm okay with us taking back our sphere of influence on this part of the globe.
Taking it back?
Like we once had, yes. All those nations have gone through socialism and communism on and off, the Belts and Roads Initiative and all that stuff. We want a little more cooperation between those nations and us, rather than them siding with China and Russia. that's one of the alternatives to just
you're kind of reinforcing the statements I've been making for some time, in that the world is being carved up by China, Russia, and the United States primarily into spheres of dominance or influence, if you will. And in the Americas, as Trump, I mean, he even acknowledged what I've been saying today during the news conference and cited the Monroe Doctrine, although he mispronounced it, because I don't think that he's really the brains behind this whole operation when it comes right down to the realignment of the world geopolitically. I don't think Donald Trump thought this thing through on his own, because he didn't even pronounce the Monroe Doctrine correctly, but cited it in his address this morning and this afternoon.
And all of this goes back before you and I were even born. I mean, this isn't anything new here. If other nations are
like ancient,
and the libertarians who may be upset, I told you before Trump was elected, America alone, and Trump has said it, not in the same words, has never, ever meant America alone and America only. It never, ever meant that.
No, well, hang on. We'll come back to that. U.S. attack on Venezuela proves post-World War II world order crumbling. Okay? This is RT. So I hear all these people all the time freaking out. I've used the phrase myself, New World Order, but as time has marched on and things have played out, it's become very apparent to me that what we are going through right now is the creation of the New World Order, but not in the way that people have been conditioned to believe. They're looking over here when it's actually happening right there in front of us, and many people supporting it. And there it is in black and white and color. on the RT page. And if you go and look at what's going on that side of the globe and the way that their headlines work, and they are telling you straight up that they are working toward the New World Order, and they are a big part of it. Russia, China, the United States, this is the New World Order, because right there in the headline, and I could read you the rest of the article, but it's very apparent what we're getting at here. This is the post-World War II world order, meaning the current world order is crumbling to then be replaced by the New World Order, which is the world carved up into spheres of dominance, just like freaking 1984.
And it has been the case ever since the League of Nations even tried carving up spheres of influence and creating new nations all through the Middle East, which then became part of the whole Cold War dominoes theory thing. And I will make no bones about and defend endlessly.
No, because
I want our side in control of that. Putin and Xi want their side in control of the world order.
Well, yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. In the existing world order, the rules-based international order, okay, that has been aimed at preserving the sovereignty of all nation states that are recognized internationally. And the way that they do it is through cooperation, and everyone collectively complying with these international rules or laws. And the United States now is saying, no, we're not paying any attention to that. And as a result, it's now every country for itself, because the biggest countries, the superpowers, are saying, screw this, we don't care about it anymore. We're in charge, and we're going to dominate in our sphere of dominance or influence. And we're going to put any government in that we want. If we don't like what you're doing, if we don't like your socialism, which is what is going on really globally, because this is the rise of the right. It is a global war on liberalism and or socialism, because Russia is in that camp now too. And even though people still kind of view Russia as being sort of communistic in their minds because of the Cold War era, that is not the case. What you have over there today is a federation, a republic that is communo-fascistic. They have converged communism and fascism And they are very much on that other side of the political spectrum. They're very much in alignment in a populist sense with what's going on with MAGA. And that's why Putin and his brain, his philosopher, his critical thinker over there, Alexander Dugin, is saying that it's only a matter of time before MAGA is in alignment with us. And they view Trump and the MAGA movement as being a natural ally of Russia.
Yeah, well, that was part of again, the Russian people also are not my enemy, but Putin is. And that goes back to Russia being a convenient temporary partner to fight the Nazis. They were never an ally. Read Churchill's stuff. He said it more forcefully. And I have said...
But with Trump, I think that's where we're going. And I think that in many respects, we're already there.
Yeah, and I've said over and over, including on your show, this isn't the 1930s. Yes, commie, fasci, sociocrats, I call them, because they're all may still have a different banner, but their goal is still all the same. One or a few being the ruling elites lording over everyone else. This isn't the 30s. So the world order that they're talking about, I think, is part fantasy, but everyone's competing for the most influence. And I will, to my dying breath, want our side to be in more control of that than their side.
Sure. But in this scenario, and I've said this for a long time, this political ideology or philosophy, and it's actually both, it doesn't lead to world peace, which is what what they're aiming for. Is it's like, Russia, you stay out of our backyard, we'll stay out of yours, we'll stay out of your way, you stay out of our way. China's kind of a third wheel, so it's a bit of a wild card, because in the original writings of Dugin, he didn't view China as being a player, but because they've emerged as an economic and military powerhouse since after his work began.
Because of the United States stupidity. Nixon opening China made sense, but the Mitt Romneys and the left gave
now
too
we've
much
got this,
away.
So now we've got this friction between the United States and China, but I'm not even sure that there is as much friction as you might believe. I think that's a lot of posturing too by Trump. Although I don't know, like it's they don't like communists, right? Like your language too, pretty harsh. So I'm pretty sure you're not a big fan of Xi Jinping.
All right, exactly.
So but what I'm saying is, when you have superpowers saying to all these other smaller countries, screw you, you have to do what we say. Screw you, Canada, we're going to make you the 51st state. Screw you, Greenland, we want to make you part of the United States. Screw you, Panama. Screw you, Venezuela. Screw you all. And Trump even coming out saying that, all these other countries, they have to do what we say. Or in the case of Putin, he's exerting the same kind of influence. It is inevitable that will lead to conflict, because these other smaller nation states will try to survive, and that means war.
Most of them become part of the European Union was supposed to be them becoming into their own as a global superpower,
but not giving up their national sovereignty. They be basically a coalition or a commonwealth of sorts, an economic commonwealth. Canada's part of a commonwealth as well. So it was never intended and was never about giving up sovereignty or the rights to govern over their own country, or to make their own laws.
But they
some
did
of these
some
laws,
of that.
though, international. There's some sovereignty always that is, you could argue that it's given up.
That's why Brexit happened.
Well, that you argue that, but I would say this: a nation state's laws and the sovereignty of a nation state. The sovereignty of a nation state is really based in its constitution. And so while you may have international agreements and even international laws that transcend borders for reasons of trade and trade dispute mechanisms, et cetera, and maybe even criminal stuff, it's the constitution of a country that allows it to say, no, this is no longer binding. We now reject that. We don't have to take that unless this is our choice to participate in those laws. Whereas, see, the constitution of a country would not overlay or would not be. Each country has its own constitution, which would then supersede the authority of any of those international agreements or international laws. So the sovereignty therein lies that way. But what we have now,
it
does, though. It does.
Not always.
No, absolutely it does. Because the country always has the option, as with Brexit, to say, no, we've decided that we are leaving. And if you have that option, then you still have your sovereignty, because you can choose to leave at any time.
Yeah, but some nations have more backing of their own citizens for the coalition, as you put it, and some do not. And again, back to Brexit, there were more people than not want out of it.
That's democracy, yeah. And democracy works. And you got Brexit, and that's because the people voted for it and they chose to leave, and that shows that the Constitution, which allowed for that vote to happen, superseded the international agreements and the international laws. So they did have their sovereignty even intact, which allowed them to exit or Brexit.
And we're kind of doing the same thing here now. We don't care about your international agreements. We America first. And again, I make no apologies for it. It's too fucking bad.
Okay, but that's dangerous for the entire world, because
it can be.
It can be,
unless if you prefer to suck up to Putin and Xi and the Ayatollahs, you could go ahead and do that.
Well, see, but that is why it is dangerous, because now you have these, countries who are saying we don't care either, and we're going to do whatever the hell we want. We're the powerful guys, right? We're the ones who get to decide everything that goes on, because we're getting now into territory, which is exactly what every country tried to avoid after World War II. And the United States, by pulling back and saying we don't give a damn, is actually in breach and violation of its social contract with the rest of the world, because the United States was entrusted with the nuclear weapons to the degree that the U.S. was allowed to become, and was supported in becoming, the most powerful nation on the face of the earth, in order to prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons. Because by making the United States the most powerful nation, and all these other nation states like Canada, Britain, Canada helped develop the nuclear technology to make that bomb, by the way.
A lot of nations did.
Everybody contributed to it, but at the end of the day, it was the United States that was entrusted with the bomb. The United States
stuck with the bill, let's put it where it lies. You didn't want to be bothered with it. You wanted us to be bothered with it.
But you have to,
on our backs,
that's a Trump characterization or description.
Well, you're busy redistributing all the wealth.
No, but hang on a second. Which country is the economic powerhouse in the world? The United States. Which country has the world reserve currency? The United States. Why is that? Because you've got the freaking bomb. So it's the bomb that makes you the most powerful nation state. It's the bomb that makes you the world policeman. And if you back away from that responsibility, you're breaching your social contract with the rest of the world. You're throwing the world into a tizzy. You're destabilizing everything. Well, you aren't, but Mr. Trump is, because of his.
And I have no problem working and cooperating with allies, but as far as enemies of our country, again, if they're going to assert their power and control, then damn right I want us pushing back.
If which countries are asserting their?
Russia, China, Iran with the Ayatollahs, Hezbollah is in Venezuela. What the fuck are they doing there?
Well, I mean, yeah, but your social contract has never been with those countries until now. Now there's this new social contract.
No, we used to be close with Venezuela until Chavez
Sure.
took over.
But here's the thing. The United States is now buddy with China, or sorry, Russia, right? Trump is. So he's like, well, let's do business, and you can do whatever the hell you want in Ukraine.
Well, that's the real Trump doctrine,
right?
Economic cooperation. It's the same theory all along.
He's breaching his social contract with the traditional allies since World War II, and he's pivoting over and he's making a deal with the very country that has been at odds and adversarial with the West since World War II, the Russians. And so now everything is turned upside down, and it is turned into the law of the jungle for exactly that reason. And he's
no other president has put more sanctions on Russians and Russia than Trump did in his first term. Who has been lax and let Russia invade Ukraine? Obama and Biden.
It's all about making the deal. He wants to go over there and do business, and that's what he talks to Putin about.
Because nations that are friendly and economic cooperatives generally don't go to war against each other. So as a strategy, I think
what about China? You just gave me the opposite argument with that.
Doesn't work. Well, I'm getting to the point that unfortunately it's a great theory, doesn't fucking work in the real world. Because human nature, we have been killing and warring against each other for how many thousands of years?
Well,
that isn't changing. It's not going to change. So damn right I want us to be the biggest fucking guy on the block.
So you do want the bomb, and you did want the responsibility, and you do want the power, and you do want the bill.
No, following World War II, we allowed Europe to take advantage of us so they could rebuild, because North American continent wasn't decimated like Europe and Asia was. But that time is over. It's over where the United States foots the bill for every fucking thing that happens on the planet. We're done with that shit.
Then everyone gets the bomb.
I'd have no problem with Saudi Arabia having the bomb and other nations.
Can we have the bomb? Can
Canada
absolutely.
Have the bomb? Yeah, absolutely. You're an ally, at least still for now.
I don't think that Trump would be I don't think he would be comfortable with Canada having the bomb, because he's already spinning up this narrative that we're controlled by China and a bunch of drug lords from Asia. So, which is not really true, but so it's like there's no freaking way, and that's why Canada has always lived with this very delicate relationship with the United States. That's why we didn't end up building the Avro Arrow, because there was pressure applied to the Canadian government, and they were like, no freaking way are we allowing you guys to have your own fighter jet project over there and develop your own aerospace industry to compete with us. We don't want that on our border. That's a threat to our sovereignty and our dominance, even at that point. And that was back in the 60s and the 50s.
That was the one thing we still had kind of power and control over everybody else, because we gave away our economic power to a lot of others, again, to allow them to rebuild post-World War II. That was 80 years ago. We're done with that shit.
What do you mean you gave away your economic power?
Allowing you to, not you, Canada, but like Britain and France and Spain and all, to tariff us to death so they could and take more US dollars to rebuild. And I had no problem with that for the first 20 years. But after that, then yes, we're done with the world taking advantage of the power of the United States economically and militarily. Finally, they're stepping up, except for Spain, and building up their own military. If we pull out of anything, I'd rather us pull out of NATO than the UN, and indeed say, all right, how about you fucking pony up for your own defense instead of relying on us? That's part of the social contract that you keep trying to imply. If we're going to be the policeman and be the main power behind your defense, what the fuck do we get out of it? It's not incongruous to ask and expect that.
You got everything out of it. You've had the world by the tail.
Jobs flowing all kinds of places, money flowing. There are more U.S. dollars outside of the United States than inside. We've given away all that GDP.
Yeah, they gave away a lot of the manufacturing, Joseph, because other countries had basically poverty wages, and big corporations decided to build their sneaker factories and their widget factories in Taiwan and Thailand and Indonesia and China, and the list goes on, and in Mexico for a long time too, which has built
all of that is
better
part
economy
of the
over time.
World War II Marshall Plan, in a way, an extension of the Marshall Plan. We let you take our money, we let you take our jobs, because a world where boats are lifted is better for us also.
We didn't take your jobs. You had.
I'm not saying Canada.
I'm saying that you know why the jobs left. It's not because countries stole the jobs. It's because rich companies,
rhinos,
decided
to line their own pockets. Yeah,
they built factories in countries where they had lower labor standards, fewer regulations, lower costs overall, lower wages. They could pay, pennies on the dollar compared to what they had to pay U.S. workers, because there were comparative advantages.
And they all kept it.
Cheaper
they
property,
all kept
cheaper
it
taxes, cheaper
artificially
everything.
low.
And then they produce stuff cheaper over there, and then they ship it back to the United States
artificially low, so that those jobs would go there. So am I saying they stole all those jobs? No, but their policy certainly made it such that not you particular, but they wanted to continue that economic redistribution.
But the United States,
we allowed that to happen. No fucking more. We're done.
You're done. Even if they bring those jobs back, I've got news for you, man. That isn't about bringing jobs back to America, because there's so much automation and all of this labor-intensive production that Trump does not want to reshore that manufacturing base to bring jobs back to America, because most of those jobs are automated and will be automated in brand new factories. There's, not far from where I live in Chatham, there's a plant that produces airbags for cars. It was constructed, it's got to be 15 years ago now. I've walked through that factory. Do you know how many people I see in there? None. Zero. Like an occasional human downstairs. And once in a while, they're huge machines, fabric machines, and they just run. They're all automated. There's nobody in the place until they have to have, I guess, somebody deliver material on big rolls, and they just put them in the machines like that. And it's a massive factory. It produces airbags for all kinds of different automobiles, right?
And AI is going to mean more of that.
That's why he wants to reshore the manufacturing, because he wants the tax base from the manufacturing facilities so he can tax the companies and get the money from them, not to give jobs to the workers. The jobs ain't coming back. It's all about AI, hyper automation, robotics, so that the wealth generation is in the factory itself. The means of production is then within the U.S. sovereign territory, so that he can then extract the wealth from that for the government. And all this money that he says that he is, that the United States is so wealthy, all these billions of dollars that he says he has extracted, through tariffs. Well, I've got news for you, man. That ain't in the pockets of the people. That's going straight into the government. And that ain't free market. And that sure as hell isn't conservatism. That's not economic conservatism. That is absolutely central freaking planning. Donald Trump is not a conservative.
No,
he is an economic socialist.
He's a populist.
Fascist. He's an economic fascist, and he admits it. I mean, Donnie's in there and he's like, I'll call you a fascist. And Trump said, yeah, that's okay. So then it is because because they say they're against, the big corporations, but he's in bed with all the oligarchs. He's enriching people like Elon Musk at record levels, and Jeff Bezos and all these guys and all the tech bros and all the pharmaceutical companies and all the manufacturers. And they're all in there giving him gifts in order to curry favor with him because he has the tariffs. And so the tariffs put all of the control right there on the president's desk. Because if you want an exemption on a tariff, you have to go see the man in the White House. So it gives him all the power.
And who did that? Congress allowed that again, just like they gave away the war powers. Congress has long abdicated. Post 9/11, they gave more commander-in-chief authorities to do whatever the hell he wanted.
Well, the Supreme Court
for at least 30 to 90 days.
So we have to wait and see what the result of that is. But I'm just saying that, even from the perspective of economics and fiscal policy
and if the shoe were on the other foot, if we were Canada and you were the U.S. with all of this, you'd be bitching just the same.
No,
again, there are more dollars outside of the North American continent than within our own boundaries. More money. Rising tides lift all boats theory is great, and it works some of the time, not all of the time.
The economic arrangements that we've had between Canada and the United States have been beneficial. And even, you look at the auto industry, I cite it all the time.
I agree
as a success
with that.
Story, right?
To a point. I agree with that. To a point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's your caveat there?
My caveat again is I make no apologies for being America first, but not a loner only.
Yeah, but America first.
We gave enough of our wealth away. We gave enough. You pony up. You step up. You do more. Stop sucking off our teat.
You're just, you're referring specifically to defense spending, right?
Not entirely, no. But yeah, that's a large part of it. You have more money to avail yourself of social experimental programs, mainly Europe more than Canada, but Canada to a degree, because you don't have to spend all that money on military. Big brother America will come down for you.
I don't know. We don't come to you cap in hand looking for a bailout.
Canada doesn't need to. Again, Canada has the benefit of still a degree of isolationist philosophy and that the oceans protect us. The same kind of American thinking, but this is the 21st century. Supersonic jets, supersonic missiles, supersized bombs. No land is ever completely safe anymore. For God's sake, the Japanese launched balloon bombs. That's why the Chinese spy balloon thing was a BFD that people kept trying to downplay. NOCO could put a dirty nuke on a balloon and send it over if we're not smart enough. And that can affect you also, obviously, depending on where it's blown up in the atmosphere. Fallout doesn't know borders.
Okay, I think we kind of maybe got off track a little.
Yeah, we got way off track again.
Because we went from having a spirited discussion to dirty bomb economic doomsday. Let's take a little break and we'll kind of reset when we come back on the other side, but it won't be the great reset. It'll just be a little one. So don't worry about it. We'll be right back.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
Brightleaf Innovations is excited to offer our newest investment opportunity, the Turn Easy Bed Storage Solution.
Turns with a touch, spins all the way around. Every little thing you need is easy to be found. No more clutter, no more mess on the floor. Just spin it, reach it, you don't search anymore. Turn Easy Bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day. It custom shelves for your books or your tech. Cozy space for your treasures to protect. Built-in power when you need to recharge. Smart design that makes your bedroom feel large. Turn Easy Bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day.
Designed and developed by Brightleaf Innovations, proudly Canadian and patent pending in North America. Turn Easy Bed transforms how you live.
To learn more about this innovative new product idea and exciting investment opportunity, call 519-784-0222 or visit brightleafinnovations.com.
Was that a furniture ad or a Taylor Swift video?
It was the
It's
Turn
like
Easy Bed. It was the Turn Easy Bed.
I used to have under bed storage way back when I had my water bed. It's nice to have under bed storage. So
Well, yeah, it's
I
not
hope
just under bed
they
storage.
do well.
Yeah, it's not really just under bed storage. It's really about the headboard and pivoting ends that come around. So if you're, if you're elderly or whatever, and you have trouble getting up, it'll
Good
pivot right
product.
over. You get your stuff, and you get
Good product.
Yep.
Yep.
a power jack for your phone, so you can, plug right into the matrix and rot your brain, without ever having to get up again, ever. You just
It's
just
like
jack
the
in
movie
your Neuralink
Wall-E.
plug. It's right
Like
there.
Wall-E, right? Everybody's on their automated lounge chairs, getting fatter and fatter and fatter because nobody exercises. Yep.
That's right. Yeah. Just lay in your bed forever.
Yep.
No need to go anywhere. Everything you need is right there in your Turn Easy Bed.
Just get out of bed long enough to go to the door to get your Grubhub delivery to eat in bed also.
No, then you just need an in-home care person or an AI robot to just bring you whatever comes from the delivery guy.
That'll come eventually. Yes, that'll come eventually.
So Serge 2926 says hotel furniture for your doghouse. I don't know what that means, but okay, it sounds okay. Just back to the economic thing. Economics and economy. It's not a zero-sum game. It's about growth.
No, it's not. Correct.
So I see no reason why.
Well, I
countries
see
can't
no
just
reason why
engage in mutually
Canada.
beneficial trade.
I have no problem with Carney or Ford being Canada first and wanting a bigger slice of the pie,
or at least
as I want for us. Again,
we just want a slice. We just want a fair slice. We don't, just a fair slice. That's all.
Yeah, well, fair. A socialist word to define what is best for your own interest. That's who decides.
Well, that's what negotiations
Your
are.
fair isn't my fair.
Well, Trump's fair is we want all of your auto factories.
And
that doesn't seem fair.
That's ridiculous. I agree with you on that.
That's not fair.
You still have a streak of TDS in this inability to look past hyperbole.
I don't suffer from TDS at all. Zero TDS here.
Most people who have it have no idea they have it.
Oh yeah, I could make the same argument on your side. No, I've just I'm just seeing another side, because I was, for a long time very much in favor of what Trump was doing, and I still say sometimes that he does things that are beneficial or good, but I also see a lot of the faux pas and the outright blatant terrible.
I agree. I'm not a Trump cultist. Said it over and over.
And I have to say that I'm not comfortable with the way he's done this in Venezuela. I'm not comfortable with these troops on the streets. I'm not comfortable with the way he's deporting people, because it's a violation of the rule of law. It isn't.
Yes,
Bill Clinton, it is a violation of some people's rights. And
Bill Clinton signed into law expedited removal. Bill Clinton signed the expedited removal law. We're acting legally. The leftists allowed it to go into law because they knew a Democrat president wouldn't enforce it.
It is not legal when you violate some people's rights.
If you're here illegally, you don't have constitutional rights. You have what privileges we decide to give you. Our Constitution is for U.S. citizens.
No,
if you're here even as a guest, legally as a guest, you don't automatically get all those rights. You get what privileges we decide to give you.
The U.S. Constitution does afford some rights even to people who are not citizens, who are within the borders of the United States, whether they're legally or even illegally. That is why there are such concerns about deporting people from the United States to another country, and often
that is problematic.
The people being deported to some place like El Salvador did not even come from El Salvador, but they're being deported. And as soon as they
I agree is an issue. I agree with you that is an issue.
That the due process that they are entitled to,
the Bill Clinton law means they have no due process right.
They do
read the law. Bill Clinton signed.
I did read the law. And the Constitution.
The accusation is almost enough.
If that's what makes the United States a great country, is because even people who are not U.S. citizens, when you are within the United States, there are some rights, legal rights, that
some have been afforded those, and we're tired of them taking advantage of them.
That's why Trump is deporting these people to a third-party country. That's why he's deporting them to a third-party country, so they don't have any rights. And so, and then you're seeing, treatment there that is questionable.
We're not going to allow the U.S. to become what London has, even though Minneapolis, St. Paul already has become what
that's
London.
Not what I'm not, that's an aside. This is the point that is we're talking about here right now, is whether rights are being violated.
Under the Bill Clinton law,
on the floor right now.
They're not. The Maryland dad had a deportation order. So if we want to argue that particular case, especially like the left wants to argue, oh, you violated his rights. No, he already had a deportation order and we removed him.
You can sit there and say that rights aren't being violated all you want, but they clearly have been for many people under this scenario. And a lot of this stuff is just being it's just being done, and people aren't doing it.
We didn't hear any of this when Bill Clinton signed the law and Barack Obama deported people under
your Constitution, man. Even here in Canada, if you're visiting Canada, if you're visiting Canada and you commit a crime if you are visiting Canada, you're not a Canadian citizen, and you commit a crime, even here, okay, you still have some rights. Like, we don't just throw you in the hole and keep you there for 20 years because you got shoplifting.
I have whatever privileges the Canadian government chooses to afford me. I am not bound, but I am not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. In our Constitution, illegals and guests a guest is subject to the jurisdiction thereof. An illegal invader is not. Zero rights.
Is someone within the United States subject to U.S. law?
The rights, the privileges
are they subject to U.S. law?
Yes, damn right they are.
That's right. And so, because they're subject to U.S. law, they are also subject to. They also have some rights.
Illegally invading us is a violation
they would
have of that law.
They would be entitled to legal representation before a court.
And the Maryland dad and others have had that. And
so if I go on vacation,
Bill Clinton signed a law that says that's not true.
Oh no! So why would any Canadian go to Florida for a vacation?
Take it up with Bill Clinton.
You clearly, Joseph, as a Canadian, if you're vacationing in Florida and you get caught, I don't know, speeding, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe accused of a crime that you didn't commit. It doesn't, because it's the United States and it's a first world country and it's a democracy and you believe in the rule of law, you treat people with respect, and you respect their rights, and you do have some rights under the U.S. Constitution.
Legally vacationing, you are here as a guest. Yes, we afford you more rights and privileges than someone who just invades the country.
Even if you are there illegally, if I snuck across the border and I got apprehended,
I would expect that you could be snatched up and deported immediately under the Bill Clinton law.
So would I therefore would you be allowed to execute me on the spot?
No, we don't. We afford some privilege.
Privilege. No,
we're not barbaric.
No, I think you're confusing privileges with the rights afforded to people under your Constitution. Because you don't get all the rights because you don't. You're
making my point now.
You don't get all the benefits of being a U.S. citizen because you're not a citizen.
Just like you shouldn't be on welfare.
You still get some rights.
You're not entitled to welfare under our
free country. You don't get welfare if you're necessarily. I'm not defending the inappropriate and maybe even illegal distribution of social welfare to people, right, who are there not legally. But that's a political choice, but that's not a right necessarily. But under the law, the United States is not like a tin pot dictatorship, or at least it wasn't. So, you just don't go around executing people because they got caught jaywalking.
No,
and saying you don't have any rights, so we're just gonna. We're just tired of dealing with you. We don't want to pay the bill anymore. We're tired of being taken advantage of. We're not going to feed you by putting you in prison. So, death penalty for you for your jaywalking. The United States doesn't do that because you do have the rule of law, and there are some rights afforded to people, citizens or not, when they're within the boundaries of the United States and in the sovereign territory of the U.S.
You do not afford me the right of free travel anywhere I want to go in Canada. You have the right to prevent me from coming into your country and going and doing anything. I don't have Canadian constitutional rights. I have the privilege you allow me to have.
No, you have rights because you're a human being.
That's international New World Order commie BS.
No, it's not. That's actually in our Constitution.
One world. Oh, can't we all just get along?
About respecting
no
rights
borders. No borders.
No, it's not about no borders, Joseph. That's about saying that anybody.
You're making the same arguments.
And this is about saying that any individual is afforded rights. And
There's
that's what
a
freedom
difference
is all about.
There's a difference between rights and privileges.
I'm not disputing that, but I'm saying that everybody has some rights and they come from up there.
Now that we can agree on. That's why we don't execute people, because you have a right to life.
And don't those rights extend to every human being?
Nothing to do with the Constitution. Even
it has everything to do with your Constitution.
Your right to life is a higher authority than even our Constitution.
That's embedded in your Constitution.
It's embedded, yes.
And so don't those rights extend to every human within the sovereign territory of the United States?
As long as you're here legally.
So no, yes. Joseph, because not you. Oh, Joseph. So now you're saying that it would be, if you have no rights, then it would be justifiable for anybody to just kill anybody who's there illegally. Because you don't have any rights anyway. So if somebody murders you, too bad for you.
No, because the person that would be murdering them is subject to the jurisdiction thereof and the illegal act.
The rights of that other human being, their right to life.
That is a right I'm more than happy to extend to people. As a privilege we allow you to have.
That's very generous of you.
Yes, it is.
Except I just have news.
The United States has always been the most generous nation on the planet.
You as a human being did not grant that right to anybody. The man up there did.
Correct.
And your Constitution recognizes that, and therefore it's a right for everybody within your sovereign territory, because the United States recognizes that, and that is what makes the United States a great country.
That doesn't mean it automatically applies to any and every other law or right or privilege. You don't have the right to come here and get on welfare. That's limited to
I didn't say that. I didn't
say that.
But
it's the same argument.
No, it's not the same argument.
It is exactly the same thing.
It's not even close to the same argument. You're entitled to due process within the confines of the law. It doesn't mean you get free shit. I'm not arguing that. That's not even in my
not in yours, but the people
with you on this deep.
Not what you're saying, but you are repeating open borders, commie, fasci, soci logic.
No, I'm not.
I'm afraid you are.
You can still deport people if they're here. I'm not saying they get to stay necessarily. I'm saying that anybody.
And that's all I'm saying. You don't have a right to stay here. We get to fucking kick you out.
But you have the right to due process, to answer the charge, have the charges read to you, so that you have the right to an arraignment, so that it's habeas corpus, and then you get to have some sort of hearing. Because Joseph, without that, you could have a false accusation leveled against even a U.S. citizen who is accused of being here illegally. But if you don't recognize the rights of the person who is here illegally, then you can easily say, well, you're here illegally, therefore you don't have any rights, and you just might be making a mistake. But because you're not affording due process to that person, you're going to deport somebody who is actually a U.S. citizen. So that's why you have to afford the rights to every person, to make sure that the evidence is accurate, so that when you go to court, it's like, is this person actually guilty of what they're accused of?
That's wonderful commie theory.
That's not communism.
Theory. That's wonderful theory, open borders theory.
That's not anything. It got nothing to do with
the real world as it existed through all of humanity.
Well, that's about protecting the rights. That's about protecting the rights of Americans,
of actual citizens, not invaders.
Do you not get it? Like, clearly you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Clearly, I know you're just trying to spin that you.
I'm not spinning anything. This is fundamental. If you don't respect the rights of everyone, including those who are not American citizens but are within the U.S. borders,
I defend Canada's right to do the same thing. Somebody shows up illegally, you kick them the fuck out
after they're given due process.
The Bill Clinton law gives them the secret court due process. You don't have the right to habeas corpus.
Well, then just round up everybody you don't fucking like and ship them out then, man.
FDR already did that.
Everybody with the wrong color
FDR
skin,
did
and
that.
everybody with the wrong religion, and everybody that doesn't think like you, and then you just say, you're fucking illegal, get the fuck out of my country. And I don't care if you're a U.S. citizen or not. And that's really what the hell is going on.
Oh, now, thank you again for AOC and Rashida Taliban and Chuck Schumer talking points.
Because if
TDS talking points.
No, that's not TDS, Joseph. That's about
protecting
the right of the individual, and that's about freedom.
Because I stand for the right to Canada to kick out whoever the fuck they choose to kick out of your country.
Every country has the right to kick out somebody who isn't there lawfully.
Which means you don't have automatically every single right afforded
I didn't say you have every single right. I said that you have some rights.
Well,
there's a difference.
Yes, there is a difference.
And you have to afford some rights to even those people. Otherwise, nobody has any rights at all.
You're now agreeing with me. You have the privileges of what rights we extend to you.
Rights are not privileges.
Some rights.
Some rights.
Well, we're never going to come to an agreement on this, you know, you could keep spewing TDS and communist talking points all you like.
Here, you know what? Take the TDS stuff and put it on pause because it's not going to fly here with me. Because that's not an argument. That's just an insult. So let's take the TDS, put it aside, and get back to, civil discourse. Because the TDS thing is what people go to on the MAGA side when they're losing an argument and they haven't got anything intelligent to say. So let's just stop. Okay? And
I am saying you are saying the same talking points as those people. If you're unwilling to recognize it, look in your own mirror and see that, I can't help
Maybe you are. Okay, then I'll just throw it back at you and I'll say that you're saying the same shit that the Trump cultists are saying. How about that?
In some cases, you'd be right. In some cases, you'd be right. Because I'm not playing that game. I don't play that game. I never have and never will.
What do you mean you don't play the game?
Denying when it's a reality. Sometimes I side with those with TDS. Sometimes I will side with a Trump cultist because I believe in values and principles.
Are you saying, okay, so let's
honor and integrity.
Are you saying that I'm suffering from TDS?
I'm saying you are. This is like an argument. I have a friend called Jason. He said something one time, and I said, that sounds moronic, right? So he kept getting hung up thinking I was calling him a moron. That is not what the fuck I said. I said you are repeating the moronic left talking point. And days later, of course, he apologized to me and agreed. So now every time I see him, I call him a moron. It's an ongoing running joke. I don't think you suffer TDS, but you're repeating the same talking points. It's not the same as being a moron.
So you're saying I don't have TDS, but I'm repeating TDS talking points.
That's what I've said.
To discredit what I'm saying based on it being a TDS talking point.
Your position
still not an argument.
Is more sound than those who solely just suffer TDS.
Okay. Well, as long as you're not saying I'm like I've got TDS brain rot.
No. And again, I'm an anti-tariff person, but would I rather we go to war with Canada and England and France and everybody who's been taking advantage of us tariff-wise? You impose some tariffs. We get to decide what tariffs we want to impose on others in return. Like it, deal with it, or not. Take your ball, go home. Don't fucking care either way.
We don't have any choice. We're dealing with it. He's tariffed.
At any rate.
He's like everything's tariffed.
It's already now 20-9. I was up pretty much the whole night. I plan on going to bed early tonight. I'm going to bed.
Don't run away. You're not running away on me in the middle of this, are you?
Well, we're way off topic again. So what's the
well,
sense
bring
in
it back
hanging around?
bring it back and talk to me about Maduro. Help me bring this thing home as we approach 9 p.m.
So Chavez and Maduro have constitutional rights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, then you take them.
What are you talking about?
If you're the one that wants to give them all those due process rights, then go ahead.
Clearly Maduro does have.
I am not giving him that.
You're not giving him due process rights?
To a degree, yes, we are.
Oh, well, there you
As a privilege we extend to non-citizens.
Privilege you
not entitle it as a non-citizen. He gets it as an afforded privilege we grant. And I know most people in this audience understand the difference and distinction I'm making, though you refuse to bite because you just want to be confrontational and argumentative tonight.
I don't want to. I don't. I do not. This is, really at the heart of the matter in many respects. In the world, the world, rule of law, international law.
Well, I did say to you.
Does the United States have rights to do anything? Did the United States have the right to go into Venezuela?
No nation has a right.
But you did it.
But we did it. You're damn right.
Don't give a shit about rights.
And for non-citizens, you're damn right I don't.
Well, there were a whole bunch of non-citizens flying around in attack helicopters over the capital of Venezuela last night.
Yep.
Does Venezuela have the right to deport you if you're flying around in an attack helicopter?
Absolutely, they would. They also have the right to shoot back, which some of them did.
And so was it right for the United States to drop bombs and missiles on Venezuela overnight?
That's a debatable situation based on one's own perspective. And mine, as an America First perspective, I say, damn right, I'm happy they did it. We are protecting Canada as well as even Mexico to a degree here, as well as other allies we have in South America.
What is it exactly you're protecting? You're protecting
drugs and terrorism.
Drugs. So this is going to solve the drug problem, is it?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I'm not naive, but I also don't think it's just throw your hands up and surrender and do nothing and let hundreds of thousands continue to die each year.
Maybe it's really not about the drugs.
Most of it isn't. Most of it isn't. We will agree on that.
What's it really about then? What's it really about?
It's about immigration. It's about oil. It's about a lot of things. It's an economic thing.
It is about the oil. Even Hegseth on CBS News tonight acknowledging that, U.S. companies are going to go in.
The world still revolves around oil. Like it or not, leftards.
So
the world revolves around oil.
So does the United States did the United States have the right to go into Venezuela and drop bombs last night because they want the oil?
I already said no, it doesn't give us the right, but we can decide to do so.
But you did it anyway.
Yes, we did. Damn right we did.
Because you don't give a shit about rights and you don't care about the sovereignty of other nations.
Non-citizens? No, I don't. I've already said that several times.
Venezuela's because they're not Americans, you don't give a shit, so you can invade their country?
The ones who want legal, lawful, law-abiding, cooperative governance, I care very much about them. As I do the Iranian,
legal law-abiding society by violating international law and invading another sovereign nation.
The Taiwanese, I care about them too.
Why?
I don't want them invaded because they're at least a cooperative, civilized nation.
Without any oil.
Venezuela, Maduro, and Chavez has gone into the uncivilized part of nations. Like it or not, this is still a left-right dynamic world. That's not going to change. You're not changing human nature. You don't have to like it, but I deal in reality.
I don't view it as a left-right issue. I'm viewing this as a right versus wrong issue.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And allowing you to continue to poison our people, no, you don't have a right to do that.
Then
we will act,
and
we did.
Then please stop the flow of drugs from the U.S. into Canada, because we don't appreciate it.
I would agree wholeheartedly with you on that.
But we're not going to invade you because of it. Just saying.
And good luck if you wanted to try.
Right, because you guys are Godzilla, because you were given the keys to the world empire after World War II. So that everybody wouldn't end up with the bomb.
And paid for the world benefit of it.
No. So that you ended up with the most powerful economy in the world.
We already had that before World War II.
Not to the degree that you have it since then, because there are other countries that were very powerful economically
and have been giving it away ever since.
And the United States was not a superpower the way that it is now before World War II, before the development of the atomic bomb. The bomb was everything. The bomb is everything. The bomb gives you a seat at the table with the superpowers. The bomb gives you leverage, not just militarily, but economically. You get to dictate, man. You get to take the fucking oil because you have the fucking bomb. And what the fuck are you going to do about it?
And how many nations?
You got F-35, you got warships, you've got a fucking armada off the coast of that fucking country, and we're taking that goddamn oil.
Take it up with Genghis Khan and Mao and Stalin and everybody else who's also acted in their own
rule of law
interest.
What happened to the rule of law?
Sometimes it goes out the window. That's the reality. Again, that I deal in, that you refuse to deal with the reality of human nature and thousands of years of history.
What do you mean I refuse to I'm dealing with it right now. We're dealing with it here right now. We're dealing with it overnight. I'm dealing with it as a Canadian, and the threats that we're getting from Trump, which you honestly have not acknowledged. I mean, you seem to be asleep because you're not seeing on the U.S. side what I'm seeing over here at all, because you're not getting the information. You're just being on the U.S. side.
No, I see and hear a lot of the left-wing spin, the TDS arguments.
No, it's not about TDS, Joseph. It's about, a real threat to our sovereignty, and a president who people thought was joking because it was seemed to be so hyperbolic. And I was saying, no, it's not. And it clearly isn't. And even Marco Rubio today stepping up at that news conference, and he's making it very clear. When Trump says he is going to do something, he means it. And when Trump says something, he means it. And he's been saying that he wants Canada to be the 51st state, and he freaking means it. And he's made it clear that he means it. And people were not listening to me when he first said it to Trudeau and when he was saying it about Greenland. And I was like, I don't think he's joking, because he isn't joking. And it's not a joke, and it's not funny.
Greenland. He's certainly not joking about Greenland.
He's not joking about Canada, my friend.
Strategically important.
There's all kinds of stuff going on up here that you're just not saying. And this is crazy because it's totally unnecessary, because you and I are friends and I love you to bits, man. And you're just like, you're right next door in Detroit, the Motor City, right? And,
what's left of it, because we gave that all away.
No, you had.
We had it. We could have kept it if we wanted to.
Oh, yeah, but that's that you didn't, not because you gave it away, but because you had greedy people who
rhinos and leftists,
who milked it, right? And they didn't. And
Trump, again, Trump is not a conservative. I agree with you on the point that the tariffs and everything is about bringing that economic power back more than it is about the jobs. Your jobs are a side benefit of that.
Yeah, you can argue that, but really, tariffs are a way to protect inefficient industries and neglect.
Normally it's protectionist, and normally that's why I'm against it. But I'm also saying done with being taken advantage of by everybody else.
Maybe the United States would be better off if you had a steel industry that reinvested the profits in your steel plants, and instead of letting them linger and continue in the current state that they've been in for like over a century. And that's why you're not competitive on the steel industry anymore. That's why you have, the Japanese companies coming over here, and you're talking about, America first. No, it's your steel industry, even with the tariffs, is being taken over by a Japanese company. And Trump is like okay with that. He wasn't okay with it, or pretend that he wasn't. He's allowing the takeover. Is it Nippon? I think is the company that's coming in to take over.
Nippon is giving a minority share in ownership. It's not like Chrysler, which is no longer an American company.
Yeah.
U.S. Steel remains a U.S. company. Japanese are being allowed to buy into it as a partnership, not taking it over and moving it to Japan.
The point is that the U.S. companies, like even U.S. Steel, they didn't reinvest in the plants. So up here in Canada, we have an advantage because our plants are more modern, because they're just more modern and they're more efficient. And they produce a superior product, a cleaner product, and they're more energy efficient. You guys could do that too, but instead of encouraging investment, Trump is protecting those industries and protecting the corporate neglect and the profit taking.
He's as Reagan protected Harley Davidson when
that's right.
Japan wanted to dump all those bikes here. We protect. Every nation should protect their steel industry. It's a matter of not just economics.
Yeah, but if you really want to protect the steel industry, he would create economic policies that would incentivize reinvestment in the industry, not protect an inefficient industry.
And we are doing that to a degree with deregulation and tax code changes.
Well, I hope so, because even with tariffs, the steel industry.
But that all doesn't happen overnight. And those reinvestments don't happen overnight.
Right, and that's why he's had to allow capitalization through foreign investment in the Japanese, because he's not getting it domestically. So it's not fair to sit there and say everything got stolen and we're not paying the bill anymore. If those companies had nurtured the industry, we wouldn't, when I say we, because I still think of the United States and Canada as being together on many of these things because we're partners, but then you wouldn't need capitalization from Japan, but you do, because it was abused.
Agree.
Yeah.
Some bad again, God-given free will.
Don't blame us.
You took advantage of a situation we allowed to happen.
We took advantage.
Not the world as a whole.
We didn't take advantage of anything. All we did was upgrade our steel plants. And so we're making an attractive product at a competitive price, and people buy it.
You wouldn't have had that money to do those things if we wouldn't have allowed ours to deteriorate.
Yeah, we would, because we were producing anyway. We have comparative advantage on energy because we have hydroelectric power available to us that isn't available over there. And so we have access to energy that makes us extremely competitive. And that's one of the reasons why you would actually be better off to buy more Canadian steel, because you would be getting a product produced more efficiently, which would lower the input costs of a lot of products, including automobiles, on the US side. So you could produce them at a lower price, because the steel would actually cost you less. And if we're allies and working together, then you could produce, stuff over there that we would then probably buy back, because it would be produced efficiently and at a cost-effective price. And then we're both benefiting, because we have comparative advantage that is then shared with you economically and through efficiencies and economies of scale.
We can both benefit because we do have a degree of luxury of the isolationist oceans. But again, missiles don't know borders, doesn't give a damn about the oceans. So I'm less worried about your steel industry than I am it going to nations in Europe.
Yeah.
Because if Europe is invaded again, you and I we together have to become the arsenal of democracy again, and we don't get that if we allow all that to continually be redistributed over into Europe and Asia. I want you to be more protectionist also for your own sake. You should be Canada first, and you are. You are.
In some industries, in some cases, that's true for national sovereignty reason. In certain circumstances, but not across the board. Not like what Trump is doing. And certainly Reagan wasn't like that.
No, Reagan was not. And I agree. Trump has gone too far on some of the issues. But again, what are we going to do? Go to war with everybody?
Well, I sure as hell hope not.
That's the alternative we've got. It is
Except that's what he has done. He's
the United States survived on terror alone until the 16th Amendment. Abolish the 16th Amendment and get all our revenue based on tariffs. Just like we did before the 16th Amendment. And our nation survived.
Counterproductive. Tariffs are inefficient. Tariffs do not create an economic superpower because they're contractionary ultimately. And this is why this is actually a huge danger to the United States, because as the world's largest economy with the world reserve currency and the size of the debt that the United States has, not just because of the military, but because you guys bought too much plastic shit from China, just like us. Right. So, that's a big issue. China owns a lot of us because they've been on the rise as an economy since Nixon.
I call my sister the Temu Queen. Yeah. Too much shit. From China, too much shit from China. Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But at the same time, who do we have to blame for that? Ourselves?
Yeah, like Romney, one of them, most favored. Again, when Nixon opened up China, it made sense. It went to shit in the 90s with Clinton and the Romneys and even the Bushes, globalists, more concerned about their pocketbooks than national defense and us as an economic superpower.
Yeah, although
I have no problem trying to get some of that back.
Well, except that it's a misguided journey and a bit of a fool's errand, because the economy has evolved. It is different now, and manufacturing is not really going to be where it's at in terms of employment and jobs.
There's a lot of truth
and wealth generation, and jobs is going to come from other kinds of industries, not by having people put screws into widgets.
When the next world war breaks out, which it will, because I deal in human reality, human nature, the human species, a world war will be coming again. And as a Christian, I know it based on the book of Revelation. So us having those things is beneficial to all of us.
Having what things?
Because when Europe is buried under fallout again and unable to make any of that, you will regret that we gave that all away and can no longer be the arsenal of democracy.
Well, I think you can be, because there are other ways to make money and be productive and to invest in high value and high return
national security standpoint I'm speaking to there.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, no question. Every country, especially the United States and Canada, you need to invest in industries that are in your national interests and your national security interests. No question about that.
Yep. We're on the same page on that. And I have no problem with you being Canada first, and I'm going to stay America first.
But you know what, Joseph?
Which is not alone or only.
Well, except that you are becoming more and more alone all the time because of these Trump policies, and even the U.S.'s
if I were an America alone isolationist, I would have come out against what happened this morning. but I'm not America only or America alone.
Yeah, you're not.
The world does matter.
But unfortunately, I think these policies are pushing the United States more in that direction, whether,
in some cases, I agree, they go too far in some cases. But again, you only have certain tools to work with. And I would rather financial trade wars than military open warfare breaking out across the entire globe again, which is going to come.
Well, that's a pleasant thought. Happy New Year, everybody.
Well, I hope it don't happen tomorrow. I hope it happens a long way in the future, but it's coming.
Okay.
Especially if we go isolationist, Neville Chamberlain-esque, and just say, oh, Putin, you want Ukraine? Go ahead and have them. Oh, take the Baltics too. Gee, go ahead, take Taiwan and whatever else you want.
Yeah. See, I mean, you do see the threat from Russia.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not against the Russian people, though. I am against the Russian dictators, the communist Soviets. We are back to Soviet leadership again. Remember, Putin was PM to Yeltsin, tried to overthrow him in a coup. That didn't work. They tanked their own economy to get control of it back. Yeah. But Putin's been communist dictator ever since. Ever since Yeltsin got overthrown.
Yeah, well, he's former KGB.
Yep. Yeah, we both agree on that one. So yeah, no, I'm not a Putin. I'm certainly not going to be a Putin apologist. I'm not a Zelensky apologist, nor a Biden or Trump apologist. If and when they align with my beliefs, I will say so. The one thing, like, I didn't disagree with Biden just because Biden said it. The buses things, school buses for children being electric chassis, I'm all for it. I don't want them sucking diesel fumes or hydrogen buses. Get them out, the diesel out. But that doesn't mean then full dictates that we eliminate every fucking car on the road by 2030.
Well, that's not going to happen because
no, we eliminated that regulation.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're the fascists. We want less government intervention in our lives, but somehow we're the fascists.
But you're not getting less government intervention. You're getting maximum government intervention through Trump.
We're getting less regular. In what particular instance? I might agree with you.
Because the economic policies, the tariffs in particular, are entirely about government control.
Again, so would you rather we go to war with everybody then? That's the alternative.
I don't think it has to go there.
It's one or the other. Oh, no, it's not one or the other. The other option is what everybody else in the world wants. The United States to just continue to surrender and be the fucking ATM of the planet. We're done with it.
It's okay. You can keep your debit card. I don't care. Just don't invade us, okay?
And I agree with you there. I don't want Canada to be invaded.
Yeah, I really
Greenland might be another issue, though.
Oh, hey,
I'd be open to that one. And by the way, speaking of movies, Greenland 2 with Butler and Moreno is coming out soon.
What
remember that movie? Greenland 2?
Greenland 2?
Yeah, remember the dystopian future movie Greenland. I recommend the movie. Greenland 2 is coming out this year.
I didn't see Greenland 1, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I recommend that movie. Yeah.
Well, I hope they have better cinematographers and photographers than the guy aboard the Iwo Jima, because that's not a very good portrait of Mr. Maduro, but that's the one that's out there. Give me your critique of the photo.
Well, from a photographic standpoint, I agree. Artistically, it's a pathetic photo, but you want your enemies to. What should we put them in a nice suit and tie and bring in a makeup artist for him so he makes a great mugshot like Trump went for? No, you want your political enemies to look weak and beaten. So from that aspect, that's a great photo.
Can't the guy at least frame him up? I mean, he chopped off part of his freaking arm.
From an artistic standpoint, you're absolutely right. If I were a newspaper editor and my photographer took that photo, I'd fire them.
And what kind of camera did they use for this thing?
Yeah,
like
it looks like a
from the 1960s or something, like a Brownie like film camera.
Yeah, a Polaroid shot. It looks like.
Because I mean, look at it's all like hazy up there. Like it's got such crappy lighting. It's not exposed properly up in the corner. And I enhanced this, honestly. I sharpened this. I added saturation to give him a little bit of skin tone so he didn't look like a freaking zombie. I helped this guy out. I really did. I'm making him look like a supermodel compared to what the original photo looks like. And it still looks like hell.
It does. It does. But again, I don't want criminals shown in good light.
Okay. All right.
So from that aspect of the photo, I think it's a great fucking photo. But technically speaking, as a person who took photography classes, yeah, it's a bad fucking photo.
Well, see, but here's the thing. This is why the United States, I think, is still a pretty good country, because they at least gave him a bottle of water. Right? It's like, here, are you thirsty? Here, have a bottle of water.
And hey, I don't want to starve him to death. I want to extend that privilege to him. I don't want him to dehydrate. I want to extend that privilege to him, but he doesn't have a right to them.
I don't know about that. I think a prisoner actually a prisoner of war, even
under Geneva. Yeah, but he's not a prisoner of war here.
He's a terrorist, right? So he doesn't have any.
Correct.
So you don't have to feed him. You don't have to give him water. You can torture him. You can drive nails through his fingernails and, put him on a cross.
I, of course, don't go that far, but
hook up electrodes to his genitals.
He's a narco-terrorist criminal, and no, I don't want him to have every right under the sun. We're back to that again.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, and we're almost at 10 after 9. I need to go to bed.
All right, but I've got something.
We can argue all damn night long.
We're not arguing. We're having a spirited discussion among a Canuckistanian and an Americanian. So I think you're more communist.
That one.
You're more communist than I am.
I think I might borrow Americanian.
Yeah, you're gonna like it. It's immerse yourself in the communion. Okay, it's almost communist, but not quite there. It's
oh, no doubt we've instituted some degree of socialism and communism here. Too much so for my liking. But you're the one again repeating the world order, open barrel orders.
No, I'm just protecting individual rights and freedoms, man.
Kumbaya!
So you don't believe in individual rights and freedoms?
For citizens, absolutely, I do.
They're only valid if they apply to everybody. To some, you got to have that. Otherwise, they don't mean shit. They can take them away from one person. If they can torture Nicolas Maduro, they can torture anybody they want. That's what it comes down to. And I guess that's where we're at. Law of the jungle, nuclear power, superpowers get to do whatever the hell they want in 2026.
And to a degree, you can thank Putin for the invasion of Ukraine for that. If others are going to be allowed to get away with it, hey, we'll do it too.
Oh my God. Please don't say that, because we need, Joseph, the United States to not be that. That's the whole point. Right? We need to do better. Otherwise.
And that's why we're engaging in tariffs and not invading every other nation on the planet.
Well, we don't need to.
Over economic issues. Anyway, all right. I'm hitting the sack. I'll talk to you later, brother. Have a good one.
All right. Well, this song's for you, man.
Uh-oh.
This is I'm going to give you a choice. You have two choices tonight. Donnie Destructo or Grandpa Got Run Over by an Ostrich.
Oh, yeah. Grandpa got run over by an ostrich. We got to hear that one.
It's past Christmas, but I'll share it with you. Let me find this for you because we were talking about the ostriches earlier.
Off air earlier, yes, off air,
Right,
yeah.
so let me find you. I'll get it for you. Hang on, I got her. It's going to take a minute for the hard drive to spin up on this. Grandpa got over by a freaking ostrich. I can't believe we've gone back to the ostriches even tonight. What the hell is going on?
Well, you could play it for your audience. I'm going to bed. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Have a good one.
All right. See you later. Thank you, Joseph. I don't really want to run the freaking ostrich song. And if he ain't hanging around, then I'm not playing it. Sorry. No ostrich tonight. So tonight, since I'm having trouble finding it anyway, God, please let the United States be a good country. Please, God, protect our rights, protect our individual rights and freedoms. Please watch over Joseph. And all the people of the world, and protect their rights too. Because if you don't, none of us have any. I'm praying. See you guys tomorrow. Love you, Joseph. On the flip side.
He's got nuclear subs. He's got nuclear planes. He's Donnie Destructo. He's gone insane.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.